What's going on, guys? JPV Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday. And for today's matchup, we have an Adventures Pranks versus an Adamancipator with me as the prankster going first. Now, I would like to apologize for not being able to stream 2 days in a row. I did have a family emergency come up. My cousin got into an accident. I had to go take care of him for a couple of days. And so I could not stream directly. He's hospitalized. He's pretty okay right now, so thank you guys for the concern. And with that, let's go into the gameplay. Now, I do my standard one card combo with the Adventures token on the field, and when I use my Faithful Adventure to search for the Griffin, my opponent Ash Blossoms this search. This lets me know that maybe, it's not a guarantee, but maybe my opponent has a nib in his hand. Now, I could have not negated this Ash Blossom to negating my search for the Griffin Rider. I could have just saved my cross out for a nib in case he nibs me in my turn, but I would rather have the Omni on the field than have a cross out, because Omni can work for a lot of different things and cross out only works for certain specific things. So I use the cross out to negate my opponent's Ash Blossom, get my Griffin out, and we keep going into our combo. Now, this is going to be a two doodle-doo combo, because I do have a Banish Fodder in my hand. Usually the Banish Fodder I use for the two doodle-doo combo is a Prank Kids Roxy's. So I had that in my hand, so we go ahead and get ourselves a token, go into our second copy of Doodle-Doo. And yes, I do believe it's worth it. Yes, if you can, always use your Roxy's activation in the graveyard. It is such an underappreciated thing that people do not often utilize. Now, right here, with this Roxy's, I draw into a Dropsies. That means even if my opponent somehow outs my Bow Wow Bark, meaning even through my Omni, my opponent outs my Bow Wow, I would still have Butler combo. And with this Pranks Recycle, I drew into another amazing card, which was the Nib. Now, why do I say it's an amazing card? Because this way, the way the combo works, now look at my hand currently. I will be able to Raigeki my opponent 3 times in one turn my opponent has right now. Why? Because I will be able to not care about the Lamseys on the field. I would have all the cards I require for the Butler combo in my hand. So, the way it goes is that first I will use the Griffin Omni to negate something my opponent does. Then the second board clear will be a nib. Do not use your Pandemonium first, then expect to go into nib. You cannot do that. Pandemonium locks you into Prank Kids only. That means you cannot nib your opponent. You cannot special out the nib because it's not a Prank Kids monster. So right this way, I will be able to have one Omni on the field and have 3 Raigekis afterwards. Now, my opponent is not playing just any old Adamancipator, he's playing a 60 card pile Adamancipator. So I have to be extremely careful about what I use my Omni on, when I use my Nib, when I use my Butler Pops. So once I see him trying to get the Parallel Exceed on the field to extend into his combo, obviously I use the Griffin Negate and negate that. Now sometimes, also not always, sometimes people use the Punk engine to bait out your negates. Now, I'm not saying it's always the thing, because sometimes people actually play the whole Punk engine, but most of the times people just use the Punk engine as a way to bait out negates and put cards on the field. So be extremely careful when you are against a Punk player and you use your Omni or something to negate their Punk cards. It could be a bait, it could lead to your opponent having full combo afterwards from their main engine, not the Punk engine. So we negate the Parallel Exceed, which basically would have been a combo extension from my opponent. He goes into the Crystron Hulk, that's going to put a tuner on the field, which turned out to be Olion. Banishes 3 rock monsters, puts a copy of Block Dragon on the field. Now this is when I realize he's probably playing a pile-up Adamancipator, because once the Block Dragon comes in the field, that means if he has a way to go into the, obviously the opponent will have a way to go into the Researcher, into the Seeker, because once this Block Dragon goes to the graveyard, he will be able to activate it and search for those cards added to his hand. But what I do right here is I nib. I do not use Pandemonium Go into Butler because again, that locks you into Prankets monsters only. So we have our first Raigeki, which is the nib. Use the nib, wipe out the whole field, get him a big boy token, and he activates his graveyard activations, which are the Block Dragon and the Olion. Now he links it in a way where I cannot negate the Block Dragon through any hand traps, aside from Call by the Grave. So he chain blocks with his Olion, gets the token, gets his Adamancipator cards in his hand, his Researcher, his Seeker, and I believe he got a Gigantes in his hand as well. So right here, once he tries to special out a Researcher, we instantly pop our Pandemonium, go into our Butler. Why? Because the Seeker in his hand can target one Adamancipator monster on the field and special itself on the field. I do not want that happening. My opponent has already blown through his normal summon, so he cannot normal out the Seeker afterwards to go into his combo. Once the Researcher comes on the field, we activate the Graveyard activations after we pop the Pandemonium and Pandemonium resolves, and here we are going to pop our Butler. So that's the first Butler pop, but our second Raigeki of the game. So that wipes out my opponent's field completely. Now keep in mind my opponent still has a way to put the Block Dragon on the field, because he can banish the rock monsters. He even has a way to put the Gigantes on the field as well. He could banish one rock, put the Gigantes, but he's not doing that. He just puts a Block Dragon on the field, ends his turn. Now, I'm showing you guys this video because I wanted to showcase how you can Raigeki your opponent 3 times in one turn if you have the cards in your hand to do that. That is what this whole video is about. Like, playing against Adamancipator 60 cards pile up, that's just the second part of the video. So instantly we go into Totally Awesome, I go into Battle Phase. Was going to use the Fateful Adventure Search for the Griffin to try to put as many Omnis on the field as possible and just kill my opponent afterwards, which prompts to my opponent just outright scooping. As I said before, this video was just a showcase to show you guys that you can Raigeki your opponent 3 separate times in one turn. That's going to be the end of the game, guys. If you guys do like this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subbing to my channel for more daily prank and video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, I do live stream on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule and my Discord link will be in the video description itself for you guys to check out. This is JPBDuel signing off for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Peace!